Hey everyone, how you doing? Uh, I just wanted to ramble for a bit. Uh, if you've read certain mangas and stuff like that, like I have, uh, they do reincarnations, transmigration, and crap like that after a character dies. Um, I recently found a story called the Sun God and Moon Witch, or Moon Witch and Sun God, or Sun Emperor, or something like that. Uh, where they went over something that really got me thinking about well, what happens when we die, or we feel uncomfortable in our own bodies, or feel like the life we're living is not our life. Everyone has those feelings every now and then. uh, some people it's stronger than others. um, anyway, I believe in reincarnations. I believe I went over this in one of my other videos. um, and mainly it's, what if instead of just dying or reincarnating on Earth later, what if we actually do, go to, what if our soul leaves the dead body and goes to where, goes to the next body that it was supposed to inhabit, or the soul switch. Um, like something happens during the process and souls end up switching bodies, and they end up in different bodies but the same body. You know what I'm, so basically, I'm going to explain this how they do in the book. Isana was in Isana's body, was in Shauna's body. Shauna was in Isana's body. Shauna is a modern day girl, while Isana is in what they was in modern world, and then a world where witches were being burned at the stake, um, even though they're so powerful and stuff like that. And not only that, but the emperor needs a witch. I don't know why the hell they decided to burn all the witches when the emperor needs a witch, but obviously they wanted the empire to fall to ruin. Anyway, Isana decides that she's going to go to where her body originally was. She wants to go back to where she was originally supposed to be born, to see if she could get love there. She has a constitution that makes her extremely weak when accepting magical power, or not accepting magical power after a long period of time, because her soul's not supposed to be in that body. Uh, so she successfully succeeds in doing this and switching bodies. Shauna never gets sick as the witch, because that was the body she was originally supposed to be born in, while Isana is now in the modern world and is slowly losing her magic because magic's not supposed to exist there. Um, and they later the witch finds a way to get her modern body and that soul back to her world. Um, and she already saw this coming because she had everything figured and planned out. She ends up being extremely jealous of this one, of this Shauna, because she gets all the love. Everyone loves her, everyone cares for her, and stuff like that. Isana didn't realize that she was the same, but because she wasn't returning any love and was really awkward about what she wanted, it it kind of gives off that leave me alone vibe or awkward vibe. Uh, so she ends up being extremely jealous. They end up fighting for a while. Then Shauna ends up locking Isana up and into this golden cage that the Emperor made, and starts teaching her about the modern world. Um, and I guess they eventually go over why she's not being loved, because she's not giving anything in return. She's not talking, she just expects to receive it. That's not how it works. Um, anyway, they both end up staying in those bodies. Isana stays in Shauna's body, and Shauna stays in Isana's body. Um, Shauna goes through, well, I guess Isana now at this point, um, goes through this ordeal of she gets given a choice, either go back to the modern world or stay here. She's not, she goes through a long period and a long struggle of trying to figure out what she wants, because the people she loves are still in the modern world, yet the other people that she loves are in this world as well, and she can't have both. Or at least that's what she thought. Um, so she imagined what it would be like if she went back to the modern world. It actually got pretty depressing for me to read through that. I did not expect it to be like that. Uh, Something about that situation actually seemed familiar, which is weird because, well, I'm me. Um, I actually believe that people who write these kinds of stories have had an experience like that. So, anyway, she ends up finally deciding to stay in this world instead of going back to the modern world. And starts, letting Shauna in on, well, yeah, Shauna in on what she's supposed to do in the modern world. Um, a way to receive love, a way to care for people, a good way to use her magic. Um, what magic she has left, actually. Um, the way that the witch gains her power is through suffering. So if Shauna goes back to the world that she was born in, which she wasn't supposed to be born in, if she goes to that world and someone suffers, she gains that magic. whether it's by her own hand or her servants' hands. Um, it could just be tickling them half to death. It could be uh, scaring them, anything of the sort, whipping them, stuff like that. Any way to make them suffer, she gains power that way. You would think in the modern world it would be the same because there's so much suffering going around. She'd be the greatest witch of all time. But the modern world has dealt away with magic. It no longer needs magic. So she ends up gaining magic in the world she was born in and takes it over to the modern world and uses it to help people instead. Um, it's not, they end up going a little while after that. They find a way to communicate with each other through a mirror, and that way Isana can see her old family and Shauna can see all her people. Um, I kind of like the way they did the story, but at the same time, I don't like the way they did the story because it's still going on. Um, I believe the story should have ended at that. Um, for some reason, they're carrying it on. At this point, Isana has two kids, is married to the emperor. Um, although I want to believe her kids are hers and her servants because they don't look like her husband at all. Um, I know. I gotta log it. Um, anyway, uh, so I was. It got me thinking that instead of people thinking, well, not like that. Explaining it's really difficult. You know that feeling you get when you feel like you just don't belong in the body that you're in, or you're the wrong gender, or um, you don't feel like you're where you're supposed to be. I feel like that 24/7, but my mindset just kind of deals with it. It, I just do it because, well, it's what's expected of me. Um, so I started thinking about what if people like me were actually supposed to be born elsewhere and not in this world. Uh, like, what if I was supposed to be born somewhere where hunting was a major thing, or where magic was a thing, or uh, where kings and queens still existed and I was a knight or something like that? I'm not that active. Um, anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. I started thinking about that, like, what what if not everything in this world was perfectly made? After all, we have a higher power, we have a lower power. Uh, in society, we've got different levels of power. Um, everything revolves around power or money, and it just, to me, it makes no sense. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. And to me, it's just not worth understanding. It's a pain in the ass. It's tiresome. Just about 5 hours. Um, so I started thinking about, what if, even though he made us in his own image, supposedly, um, that there was a screw up because of the devil? This is just my thinking. What if there was a screw up because of the devil, and every now and then souls get swapped and taken elsewhere, uh, where they're not supposed to be, just to cause chaos? Um, the story made me start thinking about this, which I know is probably not something I should be wasting my time on thinking about, but I did anyway. Because to me, that train of thought is important. Um, uh-huh, there it is. I'm gonna regret that later. Damn it. There's nothing else. What if, that that's how things we were supposed to be born in different places. Like being an elf, uh, being in an anime world that you feel strongly attached to. What if that was where you were originally supposed to be born in? And because of some screw up in the grand design, you weren't put where you were supposed to be. Uh, I am not entirely sure why my mind went to that, uh, but it did. Um, don't give me something I already have. It's something I already have. Damn it. Like, hmm, oh, oh, well, I don't like the hair, and the top of the dress is just too. Ugh. But new suit, okay. Um, cool. Did not expect that. Um, Like, has anyone else ever felt that way where you just don't belong where you're supposedly supposed to be? Uh, you just feel completely out of place. Just, you know, completely out of it. Staying consumed. Oh, I don't know. Sweet. Right, that was just something I thought about a lot while reading that story. Uh, well, mainly afterwards. Uh, it just got me thinking about it, and I was like, I wonder if anybody else feels that way, because I feel that way all the time, and I kind of don't like feeling that way. In fact, I really hate feeling that way. It just just doesn't feel right. Okay, where's the clothes and shoes? Those are something else I needed. Oh, right. I need to do that too. So much to achieve in such a little time. Okay, that means almost this. I only have 40. Dang it. I'm not spending $100 on it. Try to save my damn diamonds so I can use them for the key. And it's trying to make me stone. It's irritating. I also started coming up with a story just out of pure boredom. Uh, one of my all-time favorite animes, One Out. If you haven't watched it, you really should. It's hilarious. Um, and it's more of a psychological anime than anything else. Um, but it counts as sports as well. Uh, my favorite character, the one I'm completely obsessed with, is Tokshitoa. Um, just, he's heavenly. That's all I gotta say about it. Just, um, anyway, I started uh, thinking about his character a lot. I didn't eat those, but I got carried away. Anyway, so I kind of switched up the story. Did it so that they had mixed baseball teams. Um, and for the first while, you don't see her. Uh, she's not that keen to the story, but her name has been mentioned several times throughout, uh, especially on an episode where Toa is completely exhausted and just he's been pitching nonstop for quite a while, so he's tired. Um, she was brought up a lot in that episode. Now, the thing about her which put him on edge, which put Tokshi on edge, was the fact that she was it's new, but damn, I don't have 100 diamonds. I did not do that right. I'm supposed to exit out of it. Uh, the thing that put Toe on edge was the fact that she was the owner's daughter. Uh, he's been trying to injure him, hurt him, get rid of him in any way possible so that his team will keep losing or whatever to raise. I don't know how that's making him money, but whatever. I don't know if he gets the other team's directors to pay him off to lose or something, but he doesn't seem to care that his team is losing. He just seems to care uh, that he's making money. Um, and he's got people on his side. I believe his name was Yoshida, is one of them. And the manager is another one. And so he does what he. So he uh, does a lot of underhanded things, trying to get the better of Toa, and keeps losing. So they both kind of have a trauma against each other, which is actually kind of hilarious. Uh, anyway, she's she's the owner's daughter, and she likes playing sport. Uh, but she's usually only ever called in, never. Uh, she gets paid as if she's participated in the games, but because she's never really needed, she just kind of does her own thing and gets paid for it anyway. Well, her dad calls her during a game. Let's see, I think it was when Tokshi is trying to go and make it a no game. Uh, what was that team's? The Mariners. Something like that. Uh, they're going against that team and they're trying to make it. Toa's checking the weather constantly, waiting for the heavy rainstorm to hit so that they can make it a no game or something like that. And he's trying to get the manager of the Mariners team to forfeit, uh, to take responsibility like a grown ass adult. Um, well, this happens to be the game that she shows up to. Um, and she's only there for like a little bit, but it's enough for him to notice. Because the second she walks into the dugout, all the boys scream and move away from her as quick as possible because she has a habit of playing with boys. Um, her idea of trying to have fun is basically torturing anybody around her. She will even go to other teams' dugouts and torture them, especially if they do not know of her reputation. Uh, and much like Toa, she likes to gamble. And she has the same tick as him where she can practically read someone's mindset. She never uses that skill often. Well, she never uses that skill because, well, it's no fun. It kind of makes everything a little too easy. Oh my jumpsuit. I didn't go trick or treating. I've been hoarding candy for myself because I don't like sharing. Uh, well, I don't mind, but if I get really low on candy, I expect whoever I'm sharing it with to replace it for me. Because candy is fucking expensive, so I hoard it like crazy. Although right now I'm having issues with my back tooth. My back tooth has a huge gaping hole in it. And you know when you pull your tooth, you get that little weird dangly thing? Uh, I can feel that through the hole in my tooth, and it's extremely sensitive right now, which makes it really difficult to eat, drink, or go outside and smoke, which I'm really hating right now. I don't know why it's decided it's going to be sensitive, but that's just what it's decided to do for the last couple of days. If I had to describe what her character was like, uh, the main words I would use is happy-go-lucky, playful, very charismatic, but in 2 seconds flat can cut ties with you in a very cold, clean way. To where there are no ifs, ands, or buts about whether she's just dumped you or not. Uh, that is the kind of character I would describe her as. She's not evil, she's not good, she's just kind of there. But to Toho, when he first sees her, he kind of gets curious. Um, Much like he did with the knuckleball that another baseball team throws later. Uh, he got curious as to how they were doing what they were doing. Uh, well, basically, he got curious how they were cheating and how brilliantly they were getting away with it. And the only person they never used it against was Takumi of the Mariners because he would know, because he has exquisite eyesight, much like Tokushi. Um, she is also a pitcher, and he gets to see her later throwing pitches, and she's got different pitches than him. She can actually spin the ball in a reverse way, so where once the bat hits it, it comes flying back at her, or she can make it fly to first base or third base. Um, she can almost, I'm going to say, 80% of the time get it to second base. But because it's further from where it's getting hit, it sometimes misses and doesn't quite make it. But much like him, no one can ever hit her pitches unless she wants them to. And of course, when she wants them to is when some moron lets someone get on base. And she wants to get a double play, triple play, whatever. And the one absolute order that the manager was given from her dad was that if she wants to play in the game, let her play in the fucking game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If she wants to be a batter, let her be a batter. If she wants to be a infielder, outfielder, whatever, she gets to do what she wants to do. Uh, that was the one absolute rule that would never change no matter what, because, well, he adores his daughter. Well, at least on the outside. Um, but the one reason that Toa hasn't seen her in the last couple games, even though she should have been there to replace him, uh, was because she was in a car accident. Now, no one knows of this yet, but Toa has kind of gotten this sense that she's in pain. So after she's done pitching, they have a relief pitcher get on, and she takes a cup of water to the back and just kind of curls up in a ball against the wall. And well, she's sitting up straight because of her back, but curled up, um, leaning on the wall on her side so that nothing touches her back. And ends up having to go to the locker room because because it's got windows, and opens the windows so that she can breathe. And Toa happens to walk in when she's taking off her shirt and sees the huge gash going down her back. And Kojima is with him, so Kojima sees it as well, and immediately Kojima runs off, gets the first aid kit, and comes back. Um, and asks her what happened. And Tokshi's got that look on his face, not really concerned, but just like, why the hell are you even here? And Kojima was like, this is why I told you not to come in, blah, blah, blah. We didn't really need you. You weren't absolutely necessary this time. And her response was, I was bored. I needed something to do. Hospital food sucks, and the TV sucks even worse. Uh, they're going to clean the wound and use those little butterfly things to hold it shut. Um, because at this point it started bleeding again because she's done ripped a couple of stitches. Um, then they wrap her in gauze after covering the wound. And Kojima tells Tokshi to stay with her for a bit while he goes and gets her some food and stuff because she starts looking kind of dizzy and pale. And aside from the car accident thing, she's got a condition all of her own, much like me. Uh, hyperglycemia, one or the other, where she constantly needs to intake sugar. Um, When I was living in Washington, I would have the real sugar Pepsi because it's not as fattening or unhealthy as regular Pepsi. Unfortunately, I can't find that anywhere else. If I drink how I drink normally, it hits the back of my tooth and it hurts. My computer keeps trying to get me to upgrade to Windows 11. I'm not fucking doing it. The last time I upgraded to uh, the last laptop I had, it wanted me to do Windows. I think it was also Windows 11. Um, when I first did that, my mouse was moving all on its own. Things were opening all on their own. I didn't even touch it. It was brand freaking new. I just turned it on, just and it had updates, and I was letting it go through its updates. And then it was like upgrade to Windows 10, and I was like, well, Windows 11. And I was like, okay, and immediately went and reset my computer and made sure that was not possible. That it's not allowed to do any updates without my say so. This one is allowed to do any updates that it wants, except for that one. I like where it's at now. There's no reason for Windows 11. None whatsoever. It doesn't fix anything, it causes more fucking problems. So I'm done with it. Um, I am also one of those types of people that believe that we are all being watched through our cameras, even though we think that they're off. I believe we have an FBI agent or CIA agent or something that is someone that is back there that is watching us 24/7. That's just me. Uh, I also am not going to act like that changes anything because it doesn't change a damn thing. It is just another moron sitting back there watching people do what they do. And if they got a problem with it, that's their own damn fault. They shouldn't have been watching in the first place. Fucking perverts. That's just my take on it. He's all dressed up. What is he dressed up as? Oh my god. 21.6 hilarious couple life hacks. Brendan Ferris. I'm gonna watch that later. Because that looks fucking hilarious. Uh, I have several YouTubers that I watch constantly, one more than others. Um, my absolute favorite YouTuber happens to be Markiplier. Um, After that, Jacksepticeye. I'm Brendan Ferris. Then I have Marcus Sturm and Minion 777. Lord Minion 777. Um, there are also several others. I love Neebs Gaming. Um, and I absolutely love, well, I don't think it's a thing anymore. I'm not entirely sure if it is. Um, used to be. Dan Plan. Um, not entirely sure what happened with that group. I haven't seen them for quite a while. Oh, Game Grumps as well. Uh, they're another one of my favorites. There are quite a few of them that I'm completely obsessed with. Um, I can't wait till that comes out. It hasn't come out yet. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Twisted Wonderland is supposed to come out at some point, and I am completely obsessed with it. Um, I've only seen the advertisements for it, but oh my god, I am super excited about it. Um, it looks fairly interesting. That looks familiar. Yeah, that looks familiar. I've had I've had an obsession recently uh, watching Stray Kids. It's just become a thing.
You wake up and you have to go. When you go outside,
Game plans changed. I like their one, are you a psychopath or sociopath, one or the other. Um, which I absolutely love. It was one of my favorites. But it's changed a lot from what it originally used to be, what I remember it being. Anyway, I went through my stories. Again, on the whole soul thing, or reincarnations, or whatever you believe in, let me know. Um, there are differences. Reincarnation, what I believe, is you are reborn. You start from zero and grow up in that new world. Transmigration, I believe, is when your body is dropped into another world. Um, or uh, or the third one, which I'm not entirely sure if they have a name for it yet, uh, where you die and your soul goes to another one of its bodies. I believe that one soul is way too big for just one human body. I believe we live on in several different worlds. And if we die early or in an unexpected case, instead of living out our lives, we get to move on to those other places. If we lived out our lives, we get reborn, we get reincarnated into whatever. Um, it could be another one of the worlds, another different universe, whatever. But I believe that our souls are way too big for just one body. I believe we live on in multiple different worlds, universes, whatever. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you have a beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time of the day it is for you. And I will see you again later.